Idlewild should be one of the best parks in the world for children. You have a great setting in the woods, some nicely themed areas, and a collection of family-friendly rides. Idlewild has won the Golden Ticket Award for the world's best children's park multiple times, but I think this park has a fatal flaw. A flaw so severe it makes me question if I even want to return to this park. What is it? Ride throughputs. Lines move at a snail's pace here. Find out why that's such an issue in this review. Idlewild opened back in 1878, making it the third oldest theme park in the United States. The park started as a campground, but slowly morphed into a picnic ground and then an amusement park with a focus towards kids and families. In 1983, Kennywood, which was located just an hour west, purchased Idlewild for $1.8 million. They immediately began investing heavily in the park. They incorporated the Storybook Forest section into the park. They added the Jumpin Jungle children's area. They dramatically expanded the water park. And they added the Mr. Rogers neighborhood of make-believe, which was a charming trolley tour honoring a local icon. Idlewild thrived under Kennywood's ownership, and the two parks complemented each other beautifully. In 2008, Palace Entertainment, which is the US subsidiary of Parques Reunidos, purchased Idlewild. I've only visited the park during the new owners, but locals have said the park lost some of its charm under Parques Reunidos. Multiple classics were removed, such as the Caterpillar, the Whip, and Ferris wheel. Multiple rides were modified. Mr. Rogers' neighborhood was converted into Daniel Tiger's neighborhood. Rollo Coaster lost its classic trains after an accident in 2016. And most concerning of all, the park's capacity took a major nosedive. I think it goes without saying we all hate lines. I can wait in line, I just don't like doing it. Kids especially hate waiting in line. I think one of the most important things to see at a children's park is minimal waits. It allows kids to have a stress-free and relaxing day, minimizing the chance of meltdowns. But get ready to wait at Idlewild. The signature rides all have frighteningly low capacities. Rollo Coaster is just a single train with 5 rows, and it has a weight limit of 265 pounds per row, so it often dispatches at half capacity. Further, dispatches are very slow since riders are weighed prior to boarding. Then the trains need to be manually unlocked at the end. I wouldn't be surprised if this ride can accommodate less than 100 riders per hour. I rope dropped this attraction in my recent visit to avoid the line. Wild Mouse only sends one car in the course at a time. Since each car holds a maximum of 4 riders and the ride lasts just over 2 minutes, you're looking at a similarly poor capacity. I had to wait an hour to experience this attraction on a weekday back in 2017, and that's assuming this coaster is even open. It is notorious for having downtime, and I believe it cannot operate in the rain. Paul Bunyan's Log and Toboggan is an aero log flume that ran with just 2 logs back in 2017. That's unacceptable for this type of ride. How this park didn't get more logs when Kennywood closed Logjammer is a mystery to me. But the scariest line of all is Daniel Tiger's neighborhood. This section of the park typically opens a half hour after Olde Idlewild. I went over there 5 minutes after this section opened, and I got in line for the trolley. There were maybe 40 to 50 people ahead of me, yet there was a sign next to me saying it would take 60 minutes. I figured that could not possibly be right. It was. The ride was running with just a single trolley that was taking maybe 20 to 25 riders at a time. And since this ride is roughly 15 to 20 minutes in duration, you can see how miserable this line can get. It is so bad that the queue line actually consists of benches for people to sit on. That is how slow it moves. By the time I got off, the line was past the 2-hour mark. Therefore, here's my strategy to conquer the park. This assumes you arrive at opening, which I cannot recommend enough. It is the only way to beat the lines here. Now, Idlewild is set up differently than most other parks. You purchase admission at the parking toll booth. You are then free to park or go anywhere within Idlewild's grounds. Once you get through the toll booth, do not park in parking area A off to the left. This puts you by Storybook Forest. This area, like a few at Idlewild, have a staggered opening time, so if you park here, you need to walk through a large chunk of the park just to reach the ride's Olde Idlewild that can open with the park. Instead, you want to head right after going through the tolls. You want to park as far down as the park will allow. I recommend Lot D. You then can enter the park and be one of the first people on Rollo Coaster. Once you get off that, immediately head over to Wild Mouse, assuming it's open. Ideally, you can experience both these coasters within the first half hour. You then want to wait by the bridge next to Wild Mouse for rope drop in a Daniel Tiger's neighborhood, which again typically opens a half hour after the park. This should allow you to get on one of the first trolleys of the day and avoid a 1 to 2 hour wait. Soak Zone tends to open an hour after the park, so I would head there next if you intend to do the water park. This will allow you to make a quick lap of the water slides before most crowds arrive. When you return to the dry park in the afternoon, you can enjoy the flat rides with shorter waits, the Jumpin Jungle play area, and the Storybook Forest walkthrough. The only significant lines you'll have the rest of the day are for the log flume, or the 3 rides you started with if you want to re-ride them. The fact this much planning needs to go into a children's park is staggering. If the park could find a way to boost the capacity of their headlining attractions, I'd be much rosier about this park, because it really excels in most other areas. I also would not be surprised if some form of a Speedy Pass skip the line system is rolled out here in the future, because it's recently been added to some other parks in the Parques Reunidos portfolio. I love this park setting. Much of the park is beneath a tree canopy, making it feel cool even on hot and humid summer days. This is one of the shadiest parks out there. The only section without much shade is the Soak Zone water park, which is completely understandable. I also love this park's atmosphere. The park's unique setup gives it a relaxing vibe. The midways radiate that old-time amusement park feel between the mix of old rides and classic architecture. Then the rides mostly look to be in good shape. Staff members are often super friendly as well. This is another important thing for a children's park in my opinion. Positive interactions with staff members can go a long way to making a ride or the overall day memorable. Then the attraction offerings are really strong for kids and families. Thrill seekers won't find too much here for them. If you want thrills, keep going west to Kennywood. But older guests can still enjoy the park if they can appreciate an old and well-kept amusement park. The park is split into 6 different areas. The primary amusement area is Olde Idlewild. This is where you'll find most of the park's adult flat rides. They tend to be on the older side, but that's perfectly okay because you have some rare classics here like a paratrooper and a spider, with the latter being the park's best flat ride. It offers a long and dizzying ride experience. Arguably the most notable flat here is the park's historic 1931 merry-go-round. It is a beauty with the wood-carved horses. It also still has a band organ, but the park typically chooses to use a recording instead. This area is also home to the park's 2 roller coasters. Rollo Coaster is the park's historic junior wood coaster. It's basically a miniature boulder dash as it travels along a wooded hill. This setting is the ride's biggest strength. It also is a fun double down and a turnaround with some shockingly good laterals. This ride is also super smooth, which makes it the perfect starter coaster. I just hope this ride can loosen the weight limit in the future, and I talk about that more in its own review. The best ride here is the rare Vekoma Wild Mouse. It is one of the best mice out there. Relocated from Wiener Prater and Alton Towers, this ride is one of a kind. First off, the lift hill is tilted sideways to avoid trees. Second, this is a noticeably taller and longer mouse than usual. This one has some powerful laterals on the turns and nice pops of airtime on the drops. Just watch out for the harsh brakes at the end. The employees will give you multiple warnings about these. As I mentioned earlier, this ride does have a lot of downtime, so consider yourself lucky if it's open. The second area is Hoot and Holler. This is a historic village with a western flair to it. This area has just 3 attractions. Paul Bunyan's Log and Toboggan is a short but fun log flume. The final drop is steeper than you may expect. Then you have Confusion Hill, which is a quirky crooked house. It's supposed to have guided tours, but it runs as a self-guided walkthrough on hot days because the attraction has no air conditioning or fans. The third area is Raccoon Lagoon. This is the park's sizable kiddie area. You'll find a dozen rides back there exclusively for kids. This is easily one of the best kiddie lands out there between its shade, size, and expansive offerings. This area is also home to Daniel Tiger's neighborhood. This trolley takes riders on an imaginative journey past the show's beloved characters. I do wish the original Mr. Rogers ride was still in place though. Not only was that the show I personally grew up watching, but the sets were much better. The original trolley had moving statues. The new trolley is just 2D cutouts, and it looks really lazy to be honest. Kids did love the attraction nonetheless, and that's really what matters. The fourth area is Jumpin Jungle. This is basically a giant playground with large slides and climbing structures. As more and more fast food places rip out their play places, areas like this become more appealing to kids. The fifth area is Storybook Forest, which is a charming walkthrough past famous fairy tales. This area is perfect to hit midday when lines are at their maximum. I usually spend 30 to 45 minutes here alone looking at all the little details. Sure, some displays could use some TLC, but this area has a lot of heart to it. The sixth and final area is Soak Zone, the park's water park. I haven't tried any of the slides here, but I've heard from others they aren't too extreme, which makes sense given the park's targeted demographic. The final thing I want to touch on is this park's food. Like their signature rides, the lines move slow, and the prices are quite high. But the one stand I do recommend is the Potato Patch if you love delicious hand-cut fries. So do I recommend Idlewild? I'm torn. On one hand, it has all the rides and amenities you'd want to see in a children's park. On the other hand, the long lines can absolutely derail your day. I only recommend this park if you arrive at opening and have a smart plan of attack. This will allow you to knock out the park's signature rides early, which allows you to have plenty of time to appreciate everything else the park has to offer. If you get stuck in one of those lines midday, it'll eat into your time significantly. Kids will definitely need a full day here. The park is catered more towards the younger crowd, but I can still appreciate this park, especially the Storybook Forest area. I comfortably did everything I wanted to in about 3 hours. If you're exclusively into coasters, the park may be worth a credit run. You have 2 unique coasters, one of which is quite good in the Wild Mouse. You can easily pair this park with something like Kennywood or Lakemont. It can be completed quickly if you arrive at opening. If you arrive later in the day though, it may take 2 hours just to ride each coaster once. It's also worth noting that this park is pricey. I visited with my Palace Parks Platinum Pass, but daily admission costs $60 at the gate as of 2022. You can usually save $10 to $20 if you buy in advance online, thankfully. Of the Pennsylvania kids parks, I do place this place ahead of Sesame Place. I think Idlewild has more to do than Dutch Wonderland, but I think it's easier to have a more pleasant and relaxing day at the latter. Idlewild's low throughputs are that much of an issue if you don't arrive at opening, in my opinion. So those are my thoughts on Idlewild, the Western Pennsylvania Children's Park. What do you think about this place? Have lines been as much of an issue for you? Let me know down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.